The I Ching is a living transmission of the divine, of consciousness. The I Ching, the Book of Change, is a map of the 64 changing cosmic frequencies of life, of consciousness. This is an ancient wisdom from thousands of years ago that was used to track and harmonize with the forces of nature in order to guide the people, an empire, a civilization. In the 1960s, humanity discovered the 64 genetic codons, our DNA. Magically, they have the same mathematical formula, the same exact geometry as the 64 I Chings. Every 6 days, the sun activates one of these 64 I Ching frequencies, which activates within us a corresponding genetic codon, which stimulates our consciousness, the theme of the life. When we enter into contemplation with a particular I Ching, especially with the I Ching the sun activates each week, then life sends us the experiences we need to unlock the shadow, which raises our vibration and awakens the divine within. The intention of this video is to serve you in the highest blessed way. This is abstract energy of sensing, so receive this message with your heart and body. This week, the sun within us, consciousness, life, is activating the 51st I Ching. The transformational path of this frequency moves us from the shadow of agitation to the highest vibration of awakening, and it's through the path of initiative. This shadow of agitation seems to be dormant a lot of the time, or its potential is dormant. The shadow of agitation is ever so present, but until we begin to really look within, we never really realize the depth of our own agitation. It's like when you first try to meditate. What a shock that is to the system. It's not as if when you close your eyes and relax, you suddenly find it easy, peaceful, and calm inside. We actually realize the terrible truth. We realize how screwed up we are, how crazed the mind is, leaping from one thought to the next, never giving us a break. And if you are brave enough to stay with the process and explore deeper, you will find the same frequency also extends to our emotional system. And after some time, you will hit one of these walls of anxiety, of fear. And it seems to be primal in its origin. It's our agitation. It runs deep within us. It's an untangled web in there, and it takes courage to plunge into the depths of our own discomfort. But this is where the journey begins, and the 51st I Ching is part of the codon ring of humanity, and this inner darkness is a part of humanity that we are here to explore. So when we say every shadow contains a gift, it may sound simple, but the reality is the process of getting that diamond, that gift, is intense. Not everyone is ready for it. So this I Ching and its shadow can really give us good tips about how to deal with the shadow and its discomfort inside the body. One of the keys here is the dilemma of this shadow, which is harshness. You see, when we meet discomfort, harshness seems to be our immediate pattern. We meet it with harshness. At the shadow level, we do one of two things. We either turn and run, in other words, we distract ourselves and we dive back into denial in some way or another and repress the pattern, or we try to fix the pattern, correct it. We tense up and we start to try to resolve it. Maybe we go to therapy or yoga or meditation or psychoanalyze ourselves through the mind. It's a natural human tendency. We want to be free of something, so we try to shrug it off. The I Ching teaches us how to turn these shadows into our advantage instead of being their victim. There are two ways through this dilemma. You either wait it out, in other words, you just sit and observe the pattern in awareness. So you observe yourself observing it. You watch the mind as it struggles and struggles until eventually your mind spontaneously gives up and then the sun comes out and you're through. This is the Buddha's approach. And there's another approach, and it's the core to this gift, to use creativity. We use the energy and direct it outwardly in a creative direction. We will see what that looks like when we get to the 51st gift. But for now, we need to get a deeper clarity of the nature of this shadow of agitation. Let's look at the shadow in relationships. Relationships also play out this agitation. So two wounded human beings come together and they fall in love. Let's say they get married. And once the honeymoon phase is over, the chemistry of the underlying agitation comes up to the surface. Because of its deep-rootedness, it will always come up to the surface. And now you have two states of agitation interacting. Yes, what it takes to ride the wave and stay together. If you haven't had the experience of meeting this shadow state inside yourself first, then you don't really stand much of a chance when it arises, because you're just going to project it onto the other person. You're going to blame them, and they're going to blame you, and we all know what kind of mess that causes. And it's all because most of the time we resort to harshness. We snap at each other, and then we blame ourselves, and we feel bad and guilty because we've been harsh, and then we grow that harshness inside ourselves and in the relationship. Most people really don't stand a chance in the first place. Incarnation on this planet is an intense experience, and we're not taught these basics. Let's take a pause from all this. I would like to introduce another idea into the mix, because this 51st I Ching is very powerful. In the original I Ching, this hexagram, this frequency, is represented by sudden flashes of thunder and lightning. So it can be both disturbing, and yet it can bring huge possibilities with it. This agitation, this frequency, this energy is directly connected to the equinox and eclipse season. The ancient Kabbalists refer to it as tikkun, a correction, something that comes onto the path as a signpost that it's time for change, time to grow and evolve. The eclipse reveals the true light behind new form. But internally, it can be intense. It all depends how you approach the shadow. So observe and be aware of harshness. At times of intense change, the quality most needed is gentleness. And we will see this in the gift. But the gift is also something that we have to claim. It doesn't just happen to us. We have to move towards it, towards the light, as well as it coming down into us. The 51st gift, the way to alchemize the shadow and raise the vibration, initiative. Sometimes, to really understand the I Ching energy, we first need to look at the city, the highest vibration, the highest potential. If you can see where the energy, the vibration is heading, that can be a point of illumination. And that is what these transformational path videos are all about. And that's why I introduce each of the 64 I Chings as a path from the shadow to the city, the highest vibration, to offer the potential. In this 51st I Ching, it's agitation to awakening. And how do we make that huge transition from agitation to awakening? They seem such a huge distance from each other. Awakening is quite something. So what is awakening? Well, first, let's picture an hourglass. On one end, you have the shadow, and at the other end, you have the city. And in the middle, you have the narrow neck of the gift. And from the shadow, you can appear locked into the glass, trapped by the endless cycles of your agitation. But when you look at everything from the other end, from the city, then time itself dissolves. You experience the limitless. So there's no end to that end of the hourglass. It isn't an end at all. The sand goes on forever and ever. It's infinite. And what's interesting is that the two places where the path to awakening are the same for everyone are the shadow and the city. It's only unique in the middle, at the gift vibration. Obviously, I'm speaking metaphorically. I'm trying to give you an image for the mind to play with. So when we experience the shadow of agitation, no matter who you are, it's the same. It's uncomfortable. It's persistent. It's human suffering. It's universal. We're all born into it. And from the other end, from awakening, it's also the same. It's freedom. One person's experience of freedom is the exact same freedom as the other person. No matter how they got there, what expression it takes, no matter what I Ching city it's refracted through, or what language or no language they chose to frame the awakening with, it's the same experience. It's identical. It's a beautiful symmetry. The shadow and the city are the same for all of us. What about the gift, you might ask? Well, the gift is the path. It's the neck of the hourglass. It's a narrow path. It's your path through your suffering. And one thing you can say about it, it's utterly unique. It's your path. It's your path to awakening. It's divinely guided for you. It hasn't been walked before. It heads out to the wilderness on the inner planes, our inner world. So guides can sometimes be a distraction. It's tricky to walk your own path because there's so many unconscious influences. That's why this gift is called the gift of initiative. Every gift has on some level an urge to break new grounds. Every gift is creative and original. So how can you follow another? Well, what about the great words of the Buddha, for example, or any other great teacher? They are great indicators of truth. Can we follow them? Can we trust the path of others? Well, yes and no. They can be an inspiration. They can encourage us, enthuse us, but no external teacher can indicate the way for you, your path. And that is what the gift of initiative is all about. It's about having the courage to trust in the direction of your feet. It's about deepening that trust. So what about teachings, you might ask? For example, the I Chings. The I Chings don't offer you a path. They lay out the matrix. They offer you a mirror. And that is what the master is. He or she is a mirror of truth, but they cannot direct you. They can encourage you to find your own way. So the 51st gift is a great invitation for each of us. The programming partner here is the 57th I Ching, the gift of intuition. Only your intuition can show you the way forward. And intuition requires subtleties. It requires softness, gentleness. You can't fall victim to the harshness. You can't be harsh on yourself. You have to have courage. You have to have the courage to practice following your intuition. And there will be many mistakes. The mind wants security. It wants a defined path. It wants a fixed teaching and technique. So you can see how the I Chings don't really give us that. No teachers. I'm just a fellow traveler. Even contemplation is hard to define. The Tao cannot be defined, but there are indicators, and gentleness is a great indicator. So we can all gain courage from this I Ching as it supports the unknown. Your correct path cannot be copied. Taking the initiative means letting go and trusting your 2 feet. Where life, the body, is leading you. The mind just needs to get out of the way. You find your own creative way through the shadow. You must go into the agitation. You must get to know it. You must create a softness around it, spaciousness. You must trust in the discomfort. Learn to yield to the energy of the shadow. Only when you go towards the obstacle can you find its correct relationship to you. Then you can redirect it in a spontaneous, creative way. So what the 51st gift does, it asks you to approach difficulties with creativity. Instead of giving into the harshness and growing and expanding the agitation further, you have to create your own way out of the situation. So try it out. Go inside yourself, locate a problem in life, find a source of agitation. It won't take long, we all have them. Instead of worrying about it, lean into it with softness. Trust it. Feel the energy of it. Let it flood your DNA and listen to it. And then allow your intuition to penetrate the problem. And be creative. Allow all possible solutions to emerge, to come to you. Claim it as already done for the highest good of all, and allow yourself to be led. One of the things that you may notice that it's usually the way we have been thinking about it that has been the problem. Let your intuition guide you. How does it feel in the body? What does it feel like without this problem? And soften into it. It's a process. This gift is all about transformation. It's the transformational field. It's alive. It's alchemy. But you have to take the initiative. The definition of a victim is someone that doesn't take the initiative. As long as you take the initiative, the energy moves. And over time, the external will shift as the internal stabilizes as a root change. The 51st gift is the key to awakening. It's the root of genius. That is what initiative is. Creative thinking, creative action, creativity in every level. No use looking outside for an answer. Look inside. inside, the depth of beauty and originality you will find is infinite. This is essential for awakening. So as you start to transform your core wound to create opportunities, then you change the way the world spins around you. You change the pattern of your destiny because you're no longer trapping yourself in a narrow set of perimeters. You are no longer remaining stuck in the past and future. You embody the energy of the present, the wonder of the ever-changing presence, the forever now. This is an essential gift for any fellow traveler into the beyond. So contemplate it deeply. Lean into your problems, your issues, your worries, your agitation, and allow for your creative force to open the way out of them. Breathe life into them. Love them. You will learn to love them. And the better you get at this, the more you will appreciate them as opportunities for transformation. You will meet an obstacle on your path and you will smile. You will listen to it. You will appreciate it. And when you're ready, you will give yourself to it. And you will unlock its incredible gift. Every shadow contains a gift. We just need to unlock it. The 51st city, the highest vibration, awakening. Each gift in the spectrum of consciousness, each of the 64 I Ching gifts is a gift of initiative, of creativity. They all lead us out of the shadow or through the shadow, and they take the energy of the shadow and make it work for us. Inside the word initiative, there is a hidden word, initiation. The 51st city is all about initiation. In fact, all the 64 cities concern initiation. What do we mean by the word initiation? At a certain point on our journey, we move through initiations, period of intensity in which we undergo huge transformations. True initiation is not something that you can produce or ritualize. It's a natural part of life itself as it evolves. It doesn't require learning or religious or spiritual affiliation. True initiation is a rare process that one always undergoes alone. The great initiations are an unsurge in frequencies of our subtle bodies. From the human's perspective, what most masters refer to as awakening, it's when the separate self dissolves and life sees itself as everything or emptiness. That's awakening. No one knows when an awakening will occur, when an activation will sweep through your being. It's always a shock. Before that occurs, you're missing a vital aspect of truth. Because after this initiation, you will never be the same. All the initiations prior are preparation that lead you to this vast experience. But there are awakenings before that and after that. What really matters is to develop the qualities needed to integrate these awakenings. The 51st I Ching is a thunderbolt, the shock of thunder, which represents permanent change. So what is the quality most needed in order for us to move through one of these portals? Is it love, truth, wisdom? I would say yes to all of them. But even more, the quality most needed is gentleness. It's softness. I empower you this week to create space, get to higher awareness, notice your thoughts, feel all the sensations fully that come up in the body, shine the light of awareness to any agitation, the sensations in the body, feel it deeply from within, breathe in, breathe out. Remember, love yourself and choose to be blessed.